Fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We'll talk more soon.
I'm going to put on the positive side, right? Focus, take whatever it is you're making right now, and I'm telling you, we will see a completely different world, all right? Fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We'll talk more soon.
Come on, somebody. Come on, so we're going to do really confident that we already know.
I can do some things to supplement what the education system is not providing.
Teammates, we are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you. I know you're going to be back for more. To my regular listeners, you already know what I'm about. We already get down. You know how I already get down. ABC, always be connecting. Today is no different. I was very, very, very fortunate to have met this guy. It was an event named Balling for Peace. The name of the company, basically the name of the organization that put on the event, the celebrity basketball game, is Balling for Peace. And the founder of that organization, Haran Hargrave, he will be on this show. He has been on the show already. By the time this episode comes out, you would have already heard from him. But at that event, I got an opportunity to meet another former athlete. His name is David Brunson, who has just an unbelievable story. I cannot wait for you guys to really dive in and hear what he's all about. So with all that, Mr. David Brunson, welcome to the Move Swiftly podcast. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being willing to jump on, man, because you're like, I mean, you know, when there's triggers, you know, you read someone's bio and you read the way what someone's all about. You're like, man, that's me. It's like just something that's triggering. And one of the things that really strikes me about your story is that you went to 16 different high schools. Listen, did I get that number right?
I went to 16 schools before college, 18 schools in total.
Wait, all right, so I'll let you tell it because I read that, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I read it, and as a former scout, I used to work as a scout for a company named FBU, and actually I used to do it for National Scouting Report as well. But there were kids reclassifying. You know, nowadays there's guys that are, you know, they're trying to be at a certain school and just all kinds of craziness going on. So can you I think that's the best way to start the conversation is for you to just speak on that a little bit about, you know, first of all, your background, but how you could have attended 16 different schools before college.
Well, the question I always get, like, were you military? And the answer to that is no.
Wow.
It was just, you know, a financial thing, you know, not being able to necessarily afford where we were, or, you know, from evictions, and
oh my God,
we always had to get up and move. So the numbers, actually, the breakdown is actually, so 10 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 4 high schools, and 2 colleges. So that's the whole breakdown. I might even be off by one, to be honest. But,
now, what kind of effect did that have on your childhood? Because I'm thinking even for myself too. I grew up in the same area. I played for the same youth football program, and then I played for the local high. Well, it was a Catholic high school that I got recruited to, but it was all pretty much in the same area. Yeah. What kind of effect did that have on you?
Well, forming relationships. I stayed to myself, primarily because, like I said, I didn't want to get close to anybody because I'd probably be leaving soon anyway. To go along with being that middle child, I was already like super shy and quiet and reserved. So it really did a real big number on me in forming relationships and just putting myself out there. And so I actually just recently went to therapy primarily for that, like those reasons right there, actually.
Now, in the book, you said football is a place where you were able to feel safe.
Yes.
Can you speak to that a little bit? Because if you moved around a lot, how were you able to, so go ahead. Yeah. How were you able to make it to where that's your safe spot?
Well, that was the only place I actually felt a part of something. Like I was saying, even being that middle child, a lot of times I didn't even feel like I was a part of the family, but being a part of the team, like that was a safe space for me, being able to let out all my aggression, and that was it for me. That's where I found peace. And yeah, I loved it. Where I felt a part of a team and people relying on me and fixing problems, and just, so football was my piece, and that was it for me.
What position did you play?
I started off at quarterback, and I still kept playing that all the way through college as well. But I also played both sides of the ball. The only position I didn't play was offensive line primarily. So, I was put everywhere: corner, safety, running back. And then once I started really putting on weight, started going linebacker for like all the other positions as well.
Now, what was the recruiting process like for you? Because you ended up going to Arizona State, correct?
No, so I went to Southern Utah.
Southern Utah, that's right. Yeah. So what was what got you going out there?
So originally, actually, I took a year off after high school, and then I went out to Compton College, where I played for Jason Brown. I don't know if you watched like Last Chance U.
Oh yeah, Coach. Yeah. Were you on that? Were you on the? You weren't on the show though, were you?
No, we should have been. That Compton team was Lord of mercy. We should have been. We were like the originals. We should have been. Yeah.
I love that guy though, bro. Like that dude, he made the show great. What was he like in real life? Because I only know him from the Last Chance U. Like the show.
Well,
was he like that?
Exactly him. That Jason Brown, like that's the only way you're gonna get him. Like there's no, he doesn't water anything down. Like Jason Brown is Jason Brown, and that's why we love that guy. Like,
yeah, he was actually on another former guest has a show as well, and then he was on that show. Monica Livingston, he was on that show, so I got a chance to listen to him, and I asked her the same thing. I was like, "Is he really like that?" Because I was binging that thing. I could not stop watching it.
I was just talking to one of my old teammates. He's like my best friend, and we were just talking about him. I was like, the thing is, like, you can't be weak-minded, like you can't have thin skin. You have to be able to take whatever comes out of his mouth. But the thing is, he knows the game, and he loves his players. Like the dude will do anything for his players. So what most people see about it, like what they see on TV, it's not like it doesn't tell the full story. But
I got that feeling. I really did. I got that feeling like as you really watched the show and you got used to him F-bombs and all the cursing, you saw how the players just kind of like, you know what, he cares about y'all. He makes it so y'all go to class like in his own way, and he doesn't sugarcoat it. Like that was really what really got me into the show, or really got me into it. So
yeah, but I love that man. But back to so originally he got me out there at Compton, and then there's some things that happened.
And you were recruited out of a school in Georgia. Was it Atlanta? You said?
No, I'm from Atlanta.
From Georgia.
I was at MacArthur out in Hollywood in Florida.
Okay. MacArthur. Yeah.
So I ended up going to Compton, did a couple years out there, and then I ended up going to Southern Utah, and I actually went out there as a walk-on. And then I made the team. The rest is history.
As a former walk-on, I definitely feel you. Now, please explain to me how you were able to earn a scholarship, though, because I know here's the thing, and this is for you listeners, all right? Anyone out there that's listening in, as a walk-on, if you don't know, it is one of the hardest things you can go through, because in a college coach's mind, they have their scholarship guys, they have their guys who were local and they want to give them extra reps. They basically want them to be playing. And I've been through it, and I'm sure you're going to share a little bit about going through the same thing. They have it in their head who they want playing. So they give those guys the extra reps. They give those guys the benefits of that. They want them playing. So can you speak on how you were able to earn it?
Here's the thing about that one. I
Mm-hmm.
went and they did not give me one.
What?
They did not. And that was, bro, there's a whole story to that one. And it's,
go ahead. Hey, listen, this is the Move Swiftly podcast. We don't do time limits on the Move Swiftly podcast.
Okay,
so
well,
go ahead and do your thing.
So here's the thing for whoever don't know, there's so much politics. So much politics in sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the only one, but a lot of people didn't.
I never got the scholarship either. So
a lot of people did not understand how I did not get a scholarship. And so I went through 2 seasons with them, and the way that my career ended there actually was a real big shock. Spring game comes around, and
now what year are we talking?
This was 2012.
Okay. So I graduated 2010, so this is 2 years after.
Yeah,
it's before NLI and all that kind of stuff.
So I'm going into my final year, and I shared defensive honors of the spring game with 2 people that's playing in the pros right now. And I get a phone call the following day from somebody saying, congratulations. And I'm like, for what? It's like, you didn't see the papers? I'm like, no. So I'm in papers in another city, like an hour away. And I didn't, like, I'm on the front of it. And for my performance in the spring game. And the following day, they actually cut me.
Whoa.
So I go into the coach's office the following day, whatever, we have a meeting. And like I said, they moved me around a lot, and I could play all those positions, whether it was linebacker, safety, running back. I did all of that. And that meeting was just like, it's so like, I like, there was nothing else I could do there. But I actually was leaving and was going to transfer to a school in Massachusetts. I can't even remember the name of it. And financial aid screwed up the week of me leaving. So I actually didn't even play my final year.
Mm-hmm.
And but then even from that, I started getting tryouts. The first one I got was the invite to the NFL Regional Combine in Tampa. And then I started getting tryouts with teams and everything like that. But yeah, so I did not get the scholarship there.
The thing is, I'm glad you're saying these things now, because with a lot of these high school kids, especially the ones that think that they know what college football is all about, and they listen to these college coaches, like, it's so important that we get this information to them, especially the parents, that you're not invincible, and this is a very, very cold and ugly, nasty business. It's a nasty business, and it's important that we get this information to the young people, because if you're like me, and like you trusted it at some point, you trusted that just your hard work was going to pay off because it was the right thing. Absolutely. I remember even being at Stony Brook, and this was after I left, the entire freshman class that came in. I was a junior, but the freshman class that came in, he had cut everyone. He cut everyone. He cut everyone from that freshman class, because we moved from just the Big South to the CAA, and we were more the top tier FCS programs. But the thing about it is he, at least the people that were on scholarship, he honored that scholarship for the next semester, at least until they graduated. Your situation, it's like you were cut, and it was just like good riddance, and those are the things that just make my stomach turn, because it's sickening, because we look up to these coaches. We think the world of these coaches when we're coming out of high school, or they're like kind of like a savior for us. And when they hit us with this kind of bullshit, it's like, what? It ruins the game. It ruins the game for us. So I'm sure did you end up graduating? How did it play out for you? I know in your book you said the next 6 years were filled with dark thoughts and things like that. Can you just kind of speak on that a little bit?
Okay. So yeah, 2013 met my son's mom and stuff, and life
Now,
happened.
this was this you were still at Utah State?
No, I ended up I went back to Miami.
Mhm.
At this time I was in Miami. And got her pregnant, and this was in the midst of all the football, like all the tryouts and things that I was getting. And
Right.
I won't get into all the details there, but I made the decision to go with having my son
Mhm.
over pursuing football. Although like it was still there, like the passion was still there, and I was still going to try, but it didn't turn out that I was in a position to even continue football.
Yeah, and well,
So,
I'm a teacher now, and I'm around moms all day. Some of them say, "Look, some of them when they talk about their dad, they don't do it in a direct way, but because it's me, they kind of start to drop these hints. They got a son now, and he's a dreamer. He's gonna be chasing his dream, this, that, and the third. So I'm glad you were able to mature up and say, "Look, I got a little man that needs to eat now." That takes maturity.
Yeah, man, and that was probably one of the hardest pills to swallow right there.
Oh my God, it's tough because that's your dream. You still had it. I mean, that's all possessions.
Yeah. Seriously, I made that my goal to make it pro. And I was doing everything to get there, and everything was like when they say the stars were aligned, everything was there. And
Right.
I made a decision that one, I don't regret, but at that time that was a slip up on my end. I wasn't thinking.
Right.
But yeah, that was from 2012 when I left, and then went through a whole bunch of there, and I went back to school in 2018 to finish my degree. Like I said, I wanted to give my son something to be proud of, and I couldn't preach to him like finish what you start if I didn't even finish that. So I went back and accomplished finishing.
Now, what did you end up getting your degree in?
Exercise science.
Okay. And now, were you able to? Yeah, because now you're a full-time. Also, I don't know if I even mentioned it, but you are author of a book titled "When the Lights Are the Brightest: The Reinvention of Self After Sports." Did you how did that book project come about, and what basically what happened to take you out of this dark place? Did you say, "Look, I'm gonna start being a personal trainer"? How did that transition happen?
So what got me out of the dark place? It was when me and his mom finally split, because that wasn't a good relationship. It was very bad for me, and not playing football, already being in a dark place and being in a bad relationship as well was not good. So that was the turning point to where I could really focus on a lot of things. But what really got me through it was having my son and praying a lot. Although I didn't involve anybody in my problems, but those were the two primary things that got me through it, was prayer and my son. But the turning point was when we split, and I could focus on my son still, but on myself instead of all the problems, But yeah, I got tired of being tired, and making that decision to go back to school, because I was working as a server and then got back into coaching and everything, but I felt stagnant. So I had to go back, finish that, and just give myself another opportunity.
Right. And a lot of coaches don't understand that. If you're going to be talking to the kids all day about do this and discipline and then all the things that the game gives a young person, you can't not have your degree. Like, you can't not be that person that isn't going back. I mean, you've played the game. These boys look at you like, well, coach, you ain't doing it. When you gonna feel like they'll look at you like, are you serious? You sitting there telling me to pick it up and run and all this. You ain't going back and finish your degree. Like, and then regardless of, and you've had a legitimate reason because you were not on scholarship. You were having to pay your own way. So it wasn't like, what gets me is some of these guys that were on scholarship and still don't got it. That's the part that drives me crazy. Like, I'm like, I am in here struggling in my ass in student loans and y'all can't pick up your free books. Those are the things that drive me crazy, man.
But you know what, though? This is a side that coaches need to get more into, and just letting them know that your degree does not guarantee you anything, though.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I try to get, like when I talk to high school kids now, or even some that's in college, is just make sure that you use your scholarship for what it is. They use you use it. Use them, but realize that just because you have that piece of paper does not mean that you have the experience needed and required for a certain job when you get out. And that's a very hard thing for athletes, when you spend upward 40 hours or more in your sport along with school, but never gain any experience by getting like internships or anything like that. So when like you don't go pro, and you may have your degree, but when you try to go for this job, you don't have the experience that they're looking for. So a lot of people fall back on like, okay, like what was the point of this? Well, like where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? So like I said, like I tell a lot of people, make sure that you put yourself first before you give everything into something that may not give anything back to you.
Mm-hmm. And just how quickly it ends. I mean, I had an ACL tear, and I mean that point, my grades was so bad, and I was just kicking myself, realizing just how fast this thing can really end for you. And these, I mean, listen, your career starts to wind, like the great careers will start to wind down at 25, 26, and that's a great career. That's going like that. That's you being probably in the top 1%. Do you know how young 26 really is? Like, if you really think about it, that's a very, very young and ripe age. And for you to not have anything going on or feel like you're old at 26, that's the downside of the game. So, I mean, with that, can you just talk a little bit about what you got going on next? I know you're training now. What does the future hold for Mr. David Brunson?
So, Lord's willing, I'm trying to get into going around and speaking to schools, high school and college, getting them my book, trying to help them create a plan, for when that day comes. No matter where there's injury or you make it pro and have to retire, like it's going to be important that you actually have a plan in place, the right people around you, and so the right mindset over everything. So that's what's in the future for me as far as that goes. I do intend on writing another book. I'm not 100% on the direction that I'm going with that yet, though. And then just continue to grow my training business. Hopefully, probably in the next 10 years, I'll get back into coaching as well.
Yeah, well, actually, that's another thing I want to ask you. In your book, you have a lot of open space for the athletes or for people, whoever's reading it, to write. Yes. Can you explain the thought process behind that?
All right. So, we've all read self-help books, but it's not really, in my opinion, helpful at all. Like, you may hear about a person's experience or this, like they tell you, this is what I did, but never really how I did it, or just like never really given how they did it. So reason why I gave the open space is, one, to journal, but also try to map out where they want to go, how they want to do this, or who and what they want to bring in. So it's a lot that is. So I put it in the book is, you're the coach now. You're not the player here. Like, you have to call your own plays and to find your success in this. in this game of life. So that's the reason why I have that open space. It's for whoever has it to map out their path to success.
Okay, and what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
So best way to reach me is either on Instagram, where it's at Fials, which is FIALS, or through my email, which is david@fials.fitness.
Excellent, excellent. And we will make sure I include all of that in the show notes as well. All right, David. So before I officially close, this is what I do with all my guests, is I want you to use your imagination. All right, you're who you are now. You entrepreneur, father. You got your books out. You got your training business thriving. You've made it. You were able to establish yourself. I want you to go back and talk to that young man that just got cut. You know, he just got cut. He literally coached and said, "Hey, you're cut. Good game, but good riddance." And you're low. You're in this really, really nasty, dark place. I want you to just pretend he came into the Zoom room. And then you will close with whatever you just say, whatever you need to say to that guy.
Wow. All right. Well, although it's going to be tough right now to realize this, but football is not the end of the world. You have so much going for you and many of opportunities. Smart and use that. You know, football's not it. Not the end game. Sports is not the end game. That's just a step forward. You know, take what you've learned from the game and apply it to life. You know, get therapy, big time. Get help and keep positive people around you. I think that'd probably be the thing that I tell the younger version of me.
Man, I love that. All right. Fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I mean, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, That's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys. That's all it is. Now, what are you gonna do?